FIRPTA stands for the Foreign Investment in Real Property Tax Act, an act first established in 1980 and updated significantly in 2016. FIRPTA requires that we address whether the seller is a U.S. taxpayer or not at or before the time of closing. FIRPTA is not a title matter. It is a federal tax requirement that is imposed on non-U.S. taxpayers. In your listing agreements, you will generally be guided with your Association of Realtors checklist to inquire whether the seller's part of the transaction will be subject to FIRPTA withholding. Again, this is a federal income tax designed to impose a permanent and final taxation on a non-U.S. taxpayer seller of properties that they own in the United States. Think of it as true in the opposite side as well. If I, as a U.S. citizen and a U.S. taxpayer, were to purchase property in Greece or in another European country or any place else in the world, upon sale of that property, a tax obligation would be imposed on me, the U.S. taxpayer. Likewise, in the United States, so many foreign persons can freely buy and own property in the United States. There is no tax consequence except on the sale and or transfer of that property. So you may have noticed I did use the expression sale or transfer because this taxation would apply even if the property were not sold and a closing were to occur, but if in fact the property were given as a gift or some sort of other beneficial transfer. In every settlement, the settlement officer will put an affidavit in front of the seller and will ask the seller, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, are you U.S. taxpayers? And when the seller says, yes, I am, we ask for proof of that by asking the seller to provide their social security number. When the seller is a U.S. taxpayer and no FIRPTA obligations apply, we simply don't discuss it any further, and perhaps that's why buyers and agents are sometimes surprised to know that a FIRPTA affidavit or FIRPTA certification is signed at the settlement table. I assure you, in every settlement that is correctly conducted in the United States, a FIRPTA questionnaire and FIRPTA affidavit is requested of the seller.